our channel. Today we're going to be reviewing the J.Cat Beauty Sunset Boulevard palette, and we'll be doing swatches at the end of the video. So first, as usual, let's talk about the packaging. This is super basic. It reminds me a lot of the Morphe packaging, although I will say I absolutely hate this packaging because the closure is so ridiculously hard to open.
Yeah.
Like, it hurts my hands trying to open it. Which, I mean, I guess if you're traveling, it's like nice that it won't open, but I don't know. It's very basic packaging. It's very cheaply made, but it is only $15, so we can't really expect too much. No, like, we'd obviously rather have them sacrifice on the packaging rather than the product, but just letting you know, very cheap packaging. Okay, so looking at the shades, I'm missing one.
Yeah.
But that's okay, it's right here.
Yeah.
There are 24 shades total. You have 2 rows of mattes and 2 rows of shimmers, which we really like this layout because in the Morphe palettes, not the new one, but all the other ones like the 350, those have a mix of matte and shimmers, but they're kind of all over the place. Like, these are nice and organized, and we really appreciate that because it's easier to create a look. When you have a smaller palette, like 12 or less pans, I think mixing them is fine. I mean, it's never that hard to be like, oh, there's a matte, there's a shimmer. But when you have 24 shades, like, it's so much easier to find what you're looking for in this format. It's really nice. So overall, these shades are really, really stunning, honestly. If you look at this palette online, they sell it on Ulta for $15, and when you look at it online, it looks like it's going to be a very like purple, vampy, cool tone palette, but when you actually look at it in person, you get a really good mix of warm tones, cool tones, and then obviously the mattes and the shimmers, and you even get, I feel like a lot of them are very neutral too. Yeah, totally. So I feel like this palette could seriously be used on any skin tone because of the versatility that it has. And you even have like this random green shade, which we don't really like, but at least they included a green. Yeah, and when you hear Sunset Boulevard, like, I was like, oh, it's probably gonna be like a sunset palette, like very warm tone. Like Britta said on the website, it looks cool, but you don't really know what to expect. And I love that it's not a warm tone palette. I feel like we've seen so many of those. Yeah. So they're really unique shades. Like, they're almost muted jewel tones, if you will.
Yeah, totally.
Like, in the fall, you know, jewel tone shadows are so pretty in winter, but they're usually very rich and very dark, and these are kind of just like a muted version of most jewel tone colors.
I agree, and
it is missing a matte cream shade and a matte black, which we really, really love when they include that in palettes. So that is one downfall, but you have some really good transition shades over here, really great crease colors, and then these are good for like the outer corner, and then obviously any of the shimmers can be used on the lid, and it's just like a really beautiful selection. I'm honestly really impressed. Yeah, the colors go very nice together for sure. So we didn't mention this, but we're both wearing the shadows on our lids. We can briefly tell you what we used.
Yeah, totally.
I used the second in on the top row as my transition color. Then I used the, oh my gosh, I'm getting lost. The second to last in the top row as my crease color. And then I used the third row, third one in as my lid shade. And then I buffed some of the first row, third one in under my lash line. Under my lash line. I didn't really use a lot of shades. I've been into more natural looks lately, so I didn't want to go too crazy. But yeah, I mean, I used 4 shades, and they were good. So I used the same one as Carly did, this one as my transition shade, and then I used the 4th one in as the crease color. I used the same one on the lid that she did, this one right here, 3rd one in. And then in the outer corner, I used this like deep berry shade, which I actually really love. And then on my lash line, I used this one again. So I think that's we kind of changed it up then. So we used different ones. Now we'll talk about the quality of the shadows. So we'll start with mattes. I prefer matte shades lately. I'm super into just like all matte looks. And so looking at these, I almost was like, oh, I kind of wish this was like an all matte palette, like just taking these 12 out and its own own palette because they are so beautiful. Like we said, there's such a unique variety of colors. This transition shade is really good. Honestly, I felt like it didn't blend that well, but the color was good, the pigmentation was good. It just took a little while to blend for me. What did you think? I don't know. I'm having some really weird eyelid issues. I've had like super dry patches, so I was worried that these shadows just weren't gonna blend at all, and I was like kind of worried about testing them when my eyelids are in such bad shape. But I felt like they blended pretty good, and I didn't know if they weren't blending perfectly because of my dry patches, but I didn't think it was the worst blendability. No, like as far as mattes goes, I think they're really pigmented, they're creamy. Super pigmented and creamy. There's a lot of kickback, which I feel like just happens with cheaper eyeshadows. I don't know what it is, but it happens. And yeah, overall they're good. They're not the best mattes I've ever used. They're not like Anastasia mattes, but yeah, they're good. They're solid. I also think that with a lot of mattes that are super pigmented, they don't really blend together when they're on like the cheaper end, and then that's kind of annoying because you put it on your eye and then you can't really blend it out, and these aren't like that. No. Like I think that they do blend really nicely together, just when you're first putting them on, maybe in the crease or the transition, it's a little bit harder when you're first putting it on your skin, but when you like layer them, they blend really well. From swatching them and using them, I think the only one I don't like is this green. It could have been done so well, but if you look at it, it almost looks muddy, and it actually looks like that on your eye. Like it has a very bad undertone. Like they should have made it a little more clean of a color, but it could have been so pretty. It's really disappointing, but the rest are so pretty, like we said. Like these 8 right here, if this were a palette, I would just be like in love. I'd use it every day. I know, it's so pretty. I really do love these shades so much. So now we can talk about the shimmers, and we were both really impressed with the shimmers. We hate glittery eyeshadow. Yeah, like I said, I've been using mattes almost every day. I've really never used shimmers in the past month. So I was like, oh, I guess I'll do it for the review. Like I have to use it. And I'm so impressed. It kind of leaves a glossy effect on your eye. Like it doesn't look glittery. It doesn't even look shimmery. It just looks, if you can tell, it looks glossy. And I love that. I think it's so pretty. Yeah, and I sprayed my brush with Fix Plus before I applied these. And so it definitely made them pop more. So it's really nice that you can build it up. Like you can go for a more subtle shimmer like Carly's wearing, or you can use a setting spray to really amp up the metallicness. But like I said, not glittery. They just look very like shiny. Yeah, they look shiny, which is so unique. I love this formula of shimmer shades. It's so pretty on the lid, especially for really summer. Pretty. And I feel like they all go really nicely together. Like with the mattes, when I did use the mattes first and then I went to put the shimmer on the lid, I was like, I could really use any of these and it would look good. So I really appreciate that there's no shade that like really strays from the rest. Yeah, there's not. I think this whole corner, okay, so talking about the size of the palette, we're both not really into huge palettes. I think it's just not convenient to travel with. It's not convenient to even pull out every morning when we're getting ready for work. I much prefer a smaller set of eyeshadows to work with. And I think they could have downsized this. I think a lot of brands think like bigger is better, but I would have preferred to get rid of like even 8 shades and then had a palette like that size, because like these 4 right here, I think this one's really pretty, but these, to me, they just have a little bit of a muddy undertone. I don't think there's a lot you can do on the lid. I don't really think I would use these or this purple one. Or blue, purple, blue, indigo. Yeah, and even this gold is a little too antique-y brass for my liking. So yeah, I mean, I think that they could have cut down. Same with the mattes, like we said, we don't really like this green. I think some of the other ones could have gone. Overall, the colors are beautiful, the selection is beautiful. We would just prefer if it was a little smaller. Yeah. So we're gonna rate them from 1 to 10. I would say this palette is an 8 because I really, really, really love the shades in here. My only complaint is that it is a little too large and I will never use some of the shades, and since it's large, the packaging is bulky to travel with and things like that, but really great quality for the price. Yeah, so I'm gonna actually give it a 7 for the same reasons Britta said, but like I said, I really like matte shades, and since these mattes aren't amazing, it just kind of like takes off a point for me. The shimmers are really great. I don't like the packaging. I do think it is too many shades. I won't really be traveling with this, and I won't really be pulling it out on a daily basis, but the colors in general are beautiful and the shadows perform pretty well, so a 7. Yeah, and we're gonna say that this is probably the second best palette we found for $15. The first being the Kathleen Lights Morphe palette. That one is incredible, honestly, but this is really great quality for $15. Yeah, like you always want to review things like based on quality, but you do have to take price into consideration, because I mean, it would be amazing if we found a $15 eyeshadow palette that worked just as well as our like $40 eyeshadow palettes, but chances of that happening are pretty slim. Yeah. So for the price, it's really good. Now for the swatches.